Welcome to the Online Success Journey Podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey Podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 263. Today we have Thornton Cline, author, speaker, mentor, and nominated multiple times for Grammy and Dove Awards. Honored with the Songwriter of the Year twice in a row and has received a Platinum Award for certified sales of over 1 million units in Europe. Hello Thornton.
Hello. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming. I know the clan is anxious to hear your story, so let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my clan about your background and what you did before you got involved in writing books?
I will, and I'd be glad to. And I've got an important announcement to make too today, just on your show. Just a little bit here, sort of breaking news here, so I'll share that too in just a minute. But first, my mother started me with piano lessons when I was 5 years old, and I'm very thankful for her and my dad too. And that led to starting to write little ditties. I started writing little tiny tunes that didn't really seem like they meant anything, and a lot of my parents thought I was wasting my time, and they would tell my teacher that, and they would say, you know, he's not sticking with the program. Should he quit and everything? And I'm glad they stuck with me and everything, because I really wasn't wasting my time at all. I was actually, even though I wasn't playing all the things that were in the program that I was supposed to be doing, I was making up tunes, and which led to later writing more and more tunes. And I also was able to teach some to students that in music area and show them what I've learned too. And as I got into college, I decided to major into music. I went to Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, Virginia for a bachelor's degree, and then went to University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana for music also. But and I kind of went around the country of the United States lived in different states, and then headed towards Nashville, which is Music City, USA. And I had a choice of living in Los Angeles or Nashville or maybe London or New York, but I chose Nashville. And then continued writing music, and I had my first major hit, with Engelbert Humperdinck and Gloria Gaynor, and that was in 1987, and it went platinum. It was recorded 10 times by different artists, including Gloria Gaynor, who I'm sure you've heard of Gloria Gaynor, audiences who did "I Will Survive." I didn't write that song, but she's very famous for that too, but of many other songs. And So Engelbert Humperdinck is king of romance. Romance music. He sold over like 150 million. We're talking about million units. So I mean, he's worldwide famous, and so he recorded my song, and just continued to write. And I've had songs that have been in the top 10 charts, and I've also have a song on the charts right now, worldwide charts, and I'm going to go ahead and say that announcement. I'll go ahead and break the announcement here. I have a song called "Cry Myself to Sleep." It was recorded by was recorded by a Nashville recording artist named Lucky Boy. That's Luckie, Lucky Boy. Well, anyway, the song has done quite well, and as of we're speaking now, the song is at number one. That's number one.
Wow.
on the European charts, as well as also on the world charts, and it has remained number one for the second week in a row, which I'm just blown away. I can't believe it, is happening to me, because actually I've never had a number one song, never had a number one hit song. I've had top 10 songs, and I've had platinum records, and I've had Grammy and Dove nominations for songs. But anyway, that's the breaking news I was going to say, is that the song is.
So what did you do different on this song that is made it to number one Europe and the world, not like the other ones before? What did you do something different on this one?
Well, that's a good question. I'm trying to think about what might have done differently. Maybe it could be anywhere from the song itself. It could be the production. It could be the singer. It's a combination of different things that make a hit song. But the song is a very honest song. In many cases, before, the songs I'd written were maybe a little clever, a little too, maybe didn't have as much honesty in this. This one is really sincere and honest, and it's based on a true story I wrote. And so I guess that could have an added ingredient to making it more believable and people feeling the emotion of the song and wanting to listen to the song and request it.
Wow. How did you go into coaching?
Well, no, I mean, people came to me and were requesting, asking me to coach them. And I get people that are like songwriters or then one in New York, and then someone, in just different cities around the world, actually, and have come to me to ask me, because now you can do it virtually and everything. And so have asked me to coach them and help them to become hit songwriters themselves. And I don't know if it's possible to train somebody to be a hit songwriter. I would like to believe that is. I also think that there's a natural ability, a gift and talent that people have too, that play into it too. But the other thing is that then I segued from writing, where I still write songs, but I segued in 2012 to writing books too. So now I just consider myself a writer and maybe an educator, writer, educator, and performer, musicians too. But the one of my colleagues would challenge me one day and just said, "Hey, you've been doing all these things for so many years. Why don't you just write a book about it, or write some books?" And so they challenged me. So I did that. I started writing some books, and I write both nonfiction and fiction. And I have 2 books out right now at the same time, as also with a #1 record. So it's really, wow. #1 song out. So it's pretty overwhelming, all of it at the same time. I didn't plan it that way. But
where did you get the time to do all that in one go?
Well, people ask me that all the time. They ask me that. I guess I feel like maybe my musicianship, my training in schools and upbringing in music has trained me to be very disciplined. I believe that the case. And so it's not the matter of how much time I have. It's what I do with my time. I feel like that I value my time wisely, and I try to make the most of the time, try to live out the day its fullest, and try to be more efficient with time. So I guess you would say maybe being more keen with time management. I would say that's where, and I owe that back to my mother, because she started me in piano lessons. And so I believe that studying different instruments, I play 7 instruments myself.
Wow.
Well, and I've learned them over the years, but you see what I'm saying is, I still believe that it's a discipline of the music. I believe that's helped me to succeed in writing, as well as in writing music, as well as books and all the other things. Yeah.
How do you write your books? You said you do non-fictional and the fictional. So where do you get your ideas? What inspires you?
Okay, I keep what we call a hook book, and I keep that on my tablet that I have, my Pro MacBook, and then what I do is when I hear a great idea here, I listen very keenly to people. I listen to conversations. I'm not spying on people. I just listen to people. And I just I write things down as they come to me. Some of the ideas come to me in dreams. Like 2 of my books came to me in a dream. Like this new one that just came out, A Novel Life, came to me in a dream in 2017. I could see the entire book, the entire movie. Actually, it'll make a great movie too itself. But it all flowed out. It just hit me in a dream. I don't know if you've experienced, or on some of your listeners have experienced dreams, but dreams are really, I think, are very valuable. They also teach us about ourselves too. I know they're supposed to be recollection of the daily events and all that, but I remembered everything about it, and I started working on this book called A Novel Life, which is coming out. Actually, is already out now, available. It's available in hardback and in softcover, paperback, and on Kindle too version. But it came to me, and I started the rough draft on it, just working on it, and then from there, I did many, many edits. So I just wrote it all down, whether it was good or bad or what it was, if it even made sense. And then I did many edits and I was honored to be offered a full scholarship by a New York Times bestseller. Her name is Sheree Bennett, and I have to give a shout out to her because she's been very helpful. In fact, I sent her one of my books, signed copies, and told her thank you for all she did for me. And she accepted me into her workshop. She has a workshop, a live workshop, and back in 2017, talented writers and everything and authors. And she critiqued the book and helped me with the book to make it more polished and edited. And so the editing process has probably gone through, I probably edited at least 10 times or more. And then I met in 2018. I was at a book festival called the Southern Festival of Books, and that's one of the largest books festivals. It has 100,000 people, and it was at Nashville, Tennessee, USA. And what happened was I ran into one of the publishers that I was very fond of, and I met her, and her books are just absolutely amazing. I loved her books. I also love her covers of her books, front covers of her books. And I told her so and asked her if I would be able to submit a manuscript to her. And I told her a little bit about it, and she said, "Yeah, sure, send it to me." So I did send it to her, and then I was offered a traditional contract. All my books are traditional published books. I guess I'm not sure I'm sure most of your listeners know what that means, but traditional as versus self-published, there's nothing wrong with self-published either. I mean, it's great. There's some people that are very successful with it, but I've always chosen the route of traditional. I have 32 of my books published right now, and they're all traditional, meaning that I approached a publisher, and the publisher offered me a contract, meaning they would pay for everything. I don't pay for anything. It's all done. They pay for marketing. They pay for advertising. They edit the book for free. They do everything, the artwork, the whole 9 yards. They put it all out. They give me free copies when it comes out, and they do the best to sell for me and everything. In other words, I don't have to put up money. If I had to do it as a self-published deal, all my books there, I would have spent probably $250,000 to $500,000 out of my pocket. I don't have that kind of money. I don't have the money. So I'm very grateful to have been traditionally published.
Wow. So what advice would you give someone who wants to move into writing books at this time of what is happening right now?
Well, my advice would be to be very objective about your writing, but always write every day. In other words, don't show it to your mom or dad or your family. You know what they're going to say. You're going to say, "That's nice, that's wonderful," but nice doesn't cut it. I mean, it's nice to be nice to people, but what I'm saying is, you have to show it to your manuscript to people that you can trust, that would give you honest feedback and constructive feedback. Maybe they could join some writers groups. There's writers groups all over in every city in the whole world, and the writer groups are what I was a member of back in 2017, where people critique your manuscripts, your writing. I also say to write every single day as much as you can, even if it's just write a letter or write something in a journal. Just write something every day for, even if it's 10 minutes or 5 minutes or a page or anything, just write, because the more we write, that's going to teach us how to be better writers and all that, and authors. And then the other thing that I learned taking some courses, I took a course from James Patterson, who's one of the most prolific in the world authors, and I've taken from R.L. Stein and Stephen King, different top authors. And James Patterson would always say that you have to have read at least 1 million words, before you would even be considered to write something. In other words, wow. Read. So reading really helps to be a better writer too. So the more books you can read, the more things you can read, you're going to be a better writer. You know what I'm saying? So, and then just write and write and write, and it's going to get there. Don't settle for anything. Don't settle for, okay, so I'm not published. Well, maybe I need, nobody's taking my work. Nobody's taking it. So maybe I should just try to
Quit.
find some money and pay somebody to do it. But that's not the way to go about it, much.
Wow. But I hear people get into this writing books for years and years, for like 5 years, 10 years. The books are not out yet. You're not earning any penny from this book. So how do you keep the passion going?
How do you keep the passion? That's very good. Yeah. No, I agree. It's hard. It's difficult. First of all, I want to say it's not easy. It's never easy. I don't admit to it being easy. It's been a struggle. It's been hard for me. I mean, my very first book, I probably sent out everywhere from New York to London, all over the world. And I got rejections. People will call those rejections, and they do discourage you, a lot. I call it one step closer to success. So I, at first, had probably 50 or 60 rejections, but I'm just a person that's real determined, and I just keep going. I'm very passionate. I would say to keep your passion would be to maybe start out something small instead of the big books. Start out with a short story. Like I've met some writers that start out with just a short story and submit it, or a poem or something, submit it to a magazine and get it published. And that way, on your way, because that helps. There's some very successful novelists that started that way with just a small, short story or something like that, and got published. Now, the other thing that would be important to do is to continue to go to workshops, meet well-known famous writers that have been successful, read lots about how people became successful, because a lot of authors didn't become successful at first. I'm sure you know about Stephen King. You know that he struggled for years and years, and his very first book that was successful was Carrie. And what happened was he threw the manuscript away because he thought he was discouraged. Just like you say about being discouraged, you lose your passion. And he threw it away, and he just wanted to give up on his writing. And his wife, partner, noticed the manuscript and picked it up out of the trash and started reading it. And she said, "This is the best thing I've ever read." And she encouraged him, and it became his huge hit. It's like, so, it hit book, and a movie too. So, it doesn't, it is difficult. I agree with you. People have been writing for years, and there's actually stories about people that have been writing for years that, who the famous Dr. Seuss, he wrote and he submitted a book called, he was ready to give up, by the way. He was ready to burn his manuscripts because he'd been trying so long. And it was called On Mulberry Street, I believe it's called. And he was going home because he was deeply discouraged, and he was going to set fire to his manuscripts and everything. And then he reached in the mailbox and found in his stack of mail, and found a contract offering him for his first book. So,
why do you do what you do?
Passion.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no, passion. Well, I do make some money, but even if I never made any money, period, zero, it's still passion. Yes, I'm sure. I'm positive. It's passion. It's you can ask any of my friends, you can, anybody, my family. It's hard for me to turn it off. It's hard sometimes to just cut it off. I love writing so much that it's almost like air I breathe and food I eat and everything. It's that passionate about it. It's kind of obsession and passion is really what makes me excited. And of course, inspiration. So I guess you could say the three things: inspiration, passion, and passion, which is drive, and obsession. In fact, people all the time, people will email me or call me and say, "How do you have so much passion? How do you keep staying with it? What makes you tick?" And they want to know, so,
Wow. Okay, let's put money aside, because you said you can still write your books even if no money was involved. Okay. Sure. How do you know you are successful?
How do I know I'm successful? That's a good question. Well, success comes in all different levels, and each person has success in their own right. I believe that's my opinion on that. Success to one is different than success to another. I'm working on a book. I have a book that I just finished it's about success. I'm glad you mentioned that. And I do mention that in the book about it. There's all types of levels of success to one person. success might be just getting up in the day and doing something, or to another person it might be a recording contract or a book contract or something. But to me, success isn't always gauged by the amount of money you make, or to me that isn't necessarily that. Or how many things you have what you had in life, or what you've accomplished, and all those things. I think I think you set a goal and objectives in your life, like I do, and then you slowly but surely achieve each goal and objective, and it doesn't always happen in the time that you think it's going to happen. It might take longer or shorter. And to me, that's success. That's personal success. It's and the other thing is, you can't compare. I don't compare myself to other people, because I'm uniquely made. I'm myself. I'm not someone else. So, it's easy to look over and go, wow, that person over there is more successful than I am, or they have more things than I do. But that's not true at all. It's all in perception. And it's all relative. I believe success is all relative. And you can have from the tiniest successes, what seems like the tiniest success to one person might be a giant success to another person. So I think it's based on each person's personal goals and objectives in their life. And it can be, we're talking about success in anything, like from, trying to lose weight, or trying to, finish a college degree, or get a certain kind of job, or this and that, or, it's all, I think it's relative. I mean, that's what you asked me about. So that's my opinion,
What have you learned from business as a whole?
Okay. Well, that's good. Okay. First of all, in business, I've learned that if you team up with people and you collaborate with people as a team effort, you get a lot farther along than you would with trying to do it all your own, going solo and making it super competitive where it's dog eat dog kind of thing, But I found that my greatest successes came from networking. I think it's very important to network, and I think in business, and to treat people fairly and treat people with integrity. Always be honest and show integrity with people, and treat people the way you'd want to be treated too, and just treat people fairly. But I've always found that if I teamed up with people, some of my biggest successes, greatest successes, in my own opinion, happen when I was teaming up, working with people together collaboratively. When we do that, everybody wins. I like the win-win situation where everybody wins, not just me that I win, but I'm helping other people. They're helping me. We're all helping each other together. And that's my greatest thing I've learned about business, as far as how it works. It's relationships. Business is very important to have relationships, and to be loyal. Loyalty is my number one thing. To always be, somebody has, had my back and worked with me and worked together and believed in me from the very beginning. Why am I going to ditch them? I'm going to be loyal to them. I'm going to work with them, and continue to work with them.
What is one thing no one knows about you?
I do. I have this really interesting hobby, very interesting hobby when I'm not writing or teaching or any of those things. My hobby is that I've had for a long, long time is I'm an amateur radio operator. I don't know if they call that a ham radio operator. I don't know if anybody. It's so outdated now because you can just pick up the cell phone, or you can stream, or you can talk to anybody anywhere in the world. Why do you have to have a radio? But it's kind of fun because I have some wires hanging up over trees in my house, my residence, and I have this little like radio that I talk to people and have friends all over the world, in Australia and India and just everywhere. I mean, just in
Wow.
Europe, and so many of them don't even know that I'm that I'm a songwriter and or a writer, author. They just know me as just me as a person. So I guess I would have to say most people don't know about that. About probably nobody would ever guess that was something I would do as a hobby, but.
Wow. Okay. I hope you upgrade it and just pick up the phone.
Yeah, no, I was thinking I would. I know, because it's so well, it's kind of a challenge though, because the reason it's a challenge is the radio, because it's not always reliable like a cell. Well, I mean, technology cell things are not, the phone aren't always reliable either, but more reliable than a radio. But I think I like the challenge. I like the challenge of it, of being able to talk to somebody like on a radio, where it's not through it's not online or anything like that. It's and be able to have a conversation without meaning that every day I wouldn't necessarily be able to do it. It's not very reliable, so it's a challenge in being able to talk with limited means.
Because I'm like wondering those wires hanging in the tree. In the trees, and I'm like, if it is snowing, when it is raining, then you can't use it.
Well, that's the challenge, yes. But we do have a lot of sunny days too. But but yeah, you can picture those wires hanging in the trees. They are, and I live up on a hill, so it actually helps me to help. It's like hilly, which is good because it helps the signal. So when I talk on a radio. There's something, I don't know how familiar you are about the radio waves, but radio waves actually just travel straight up and they hit the stratosphere of the earth. And then wherever they bounce back, though, they make like a V shape or something like that. And they bounce back, return back to like, somebody could be in Australia or New Zealand, or could be in Tahiti or anywhere. And they pick up my signal, and then they can.
Can you call in Africa on your radio?
Yeah, I actually have talked to people in South Africa. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know it sounds, but you asked me. You said you wanted to know what I do that people don't know. So that's
well, that is really fascinating. Wow.
And I have a license too for it. You have to have a license for it. You just can't just do it. You have to license to the government. So I have a license, like call signs and license. So I had to study for that too. Like you have to take a written test and all that stuff to get it. So it's not that easy, but yet it is challenging. And I don't do it much. I don't do it as frequently anymore because I'm so involved like I say, the passion of an obsession of writing. So I do a lot of writing, but every once in a while I'll do that too.
Okay. What is one thing that has contributed to your success?
One thing that's contributed to my success?
Yes.
Just one thing?
You have 100. We want to know your best.
Well, yeah, best. I do have as a matter of fact. Well, early I said was passion and drive. I think probably the biggest thing, but inspiration. You got to be inspired. So I'm a good listener. I listen to people, and sometimes people don't realize that. I mean, I'm not necessarily intentionally trying to do it, but when somebody talks about something, like for instance, here today we're talking. I mean, who knows? After we finish this podcast, an idea might strike me and go, "Wow, that was pretty interesting." What she asked me about something people don't know about me. I mean, I could write a song about what people don't know about me, and so or the something like that. So inspiration, passion, drive, I would say probably the biggest. And of course, hard work. I mean, you gotta have hard work in there too. But and obsession, I guess those are sort of all kind of run together. I would say I don't know that I could say one thing. I guess if it said one thing, it would be the love of it, a passion.
as you mentioned that we can come off Discord and you start drafting a book or doing a song, do you sometimes feel you can relate with the characters you write about?
Yes, I do. In fact, sometimes I get lost in it, and people are trying to talk to me, and I'm here. I'm lost in another world. It's really crazy. I mean, I don't know if there's something wrong with me or not, but I mean, I'm just saying that I don't know if it's normal or not, but all I know is that I get lost in the stories, and sometimes I feel like I know the characters really well, like I can relate with them, and I'm there with them. Isn't that? I mean, that's pretty cool. But I mean, if I can feel that way, I'm sure that when people read my books, they would probably feel that way too. That way.
So how do you switch off from your character to back to normality? Sorry. Because you said it's a crazy world out there.
Yeah, well, with a magic wand. No, I'm just teasing. No.
So how do you come back to life?
That's right. Well, it's very hard to. Sometimes people have to nudge me and say, hey, shout at me or whatever. They have to come back, but I guess when I finish a chapter or finished a scene, in a book, something like that, that kind of breaks it up, like the end of us. I mean, I wouldn't wait for the whole book to be finished because I'd be lost in the world for like months probably.
Wow.
It's funny how the mind works and everything. It's really it's a strange thing how you feel like you actually know these people, these characters, that they're almost like they're just
your friends.
real. Yeah, my friends. Yeah, my friends, my make-believe friends, right?
Wow.
I mean, there you go. There's a song idea right there, my make-believe friends.
That's the title.
Yeah, I know.
Send me the song. I'll be happy to listen to it. Okay. In your businesses, do you have a mentor or a coach yourself?
I believe in mentors. There was a mentor. I have a few, but it's hard to find mentors, and mentors can be living or dead. Not to talk to them or anything. I don't talk to the dead, but I'm just saying that they have inspired me over the years. And one of my mentors was back when I went to school in New York. It's called Eastman School of Music, and I just want to give tribute to him and shout out to him. His name was Everett Gates, Dr. Everett Gates, and he is not living now, but he was professor emeritus at the school, and he was the one that actually encouraged me. Besides my mother, of course, he encouraged me to get started in writing, actually music rather, and so he showed me some of his works he had published, and it was amazing. Like he could do just about anything. I was in awe how much he could do, what he could do, and he still seemed like he had time left over for other things. And so he kind of took me aside and showed me, like he was a conductor of an orchestra. He played viola in an orchestra. We're talking about professional. He was a professor emeritus at school, and devoted a lot of time to his students. He wrote music that was published professionally. He performed. He showed me how to perform jazz music and all kinds of things like that. And I just have always he's always been a mentor to me. And he wasn't just a teacher. There's teachers, and then there's mentors. Long after I had left the school, he would stay in touch with me. And that was before we had cell phones and internet, like email and texting. He would drop me a postcard or a letter and wanted to know what I was doing and took interest in me. So he took interest in his students and he influenced them. Can you imagine that? I mean, he went way beyond being a teacher. So I'd have to give him credit as one of my mentors.
So what is the most valuable thing he told you?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's good. I'm glad you asked me that. There is something it's good wisdom I think your listeners could take from this. He always told me to find a void. Find a void and fill it, and you'll be successful. Find a void and fill it. And he showed me an example. He said, okay, so if you want to be published, either a book or you want to, or a song or whatever, he said, go check out the publisher's catalog, what they publish and what they offer. And so he said, don't give them what they already have. Give them what they don't have. I thought that was the most amazing wisdom that I ever heard. He said that when you give them something or write something for them that they don't have, they will take it. You're filling a void. And I've always believed that. I've always believed that. And also the other thing he taught me was to create your own opportunities. Don't wait for people to come to you with opportunities, or don't wait for that. Don't just go after and create your own opportunities. That's what he said. So if I could give any wisdom to the listeners, it would have to be fill a void, and create your own opportunities.
Wow. Let's talk about your book. Tell us more about it and how we can read this book and get everything out of it.
Okay, sure. Well, it came to me in a dream. It's about a 17-year-old boy named Carlton, and he thinks he's written the book. He thinks he's written this book, his first book. He's been bullied, and he's pulled out of school because he's been bullied terribly through his last year of school. And so he's been pulled out of school, and he takes his time finishing up the book. And he's written this book about himself called A Novel Life. So he sends it around to many, many publishers. And a publisher in New York called Sheldon House Publishers contacts him and offers him a deal he can't refuse, a large advance money-wise, and also offers him a 60-city book tour of the United States. And so he signs with a guy named Mr. Arnold Turnbull, who's the editor-in-chief of Sheldon House Publishers. Well, meanwhile, Carlton prepares to tour the United States. He tours, and after he's in a city called Laramie, Wyoming, out west in the United States, he starts to realize things are really weird happening to him, like everything that's happened to him up to that point. He wrote about over a year ago. Can you believe it? So it's like a deja vu thing. It's really weird. It's like, and he realizes, well, maybe he's not really controlling his own actions. Maybe somebody else is. And he realizes that somebody else is controlling his own actions. He reunites with his love of his life. Her name is Taylor, and who he got to know as a girlfriend in Chicago. He's from Chicago, Illinois. Okay, and then, well, while he's in Wyoming, he discovers that everything that he has lived out in his life up until now, like his touring and everything, he wrote about a year ago. It's uncanny. So he realizes that if that's all true, then the ending of his book is going to turn out to be very tragic, very, very tragic, and something bad's going to happen to his love of his life, Taylor. And he doesn't want that to happen. So he begs everything way he can to the editor-in-chief of Sheldon House. He begs him to if he can ask him to if he could rewrite the last chapter of the book and change it so it's a happy ending, not a tragic ending. And the Mr. Turnbull says, no way. It's already finished. It's a great book. It's selling. You can't just go and change the ending of the book. So after Mr. Turnbull refuses to let him change the ending of the book, Carlton has to take destiny in his own hands because he wants to save his girlfriend or his love of his life. He doesn't want to know what to do. So that kind of leaves it right there. So you have to find out when you read it what happens next, as far as whether the tragic ending happens, or if it happens, or Carlton is able to save the day and save the chapter and save his girlfriend, and if he's able to rewrite the book, which is called A Novel Life. Wow. And and it's also called A Novel Life that I wrote too. So it's kind of cool. It's a really, really neat. It's got lots of twist in it, and it's called a psychological thriller because it kind of really messes with your mind. I mean, you're going like, wow, is this really like who's controlling this? What's going on? You know, and so it will make a really great movie. In fact, last year I sold one of my books to for a major motion picture that's still waiting to come out because it's because of COVID-19 and everything. So
wow, congratulations! So who is this book for?
Oh, it's called it's a new adult genre, meaning it's approximately. I mean, any age can read it, but it's recommended for like age 17 to probably age 30 or beyond. So 17 to 30, because YA books are called young adult books. They're usually a little younger books, like maybe 12, 13 to maybe 17 or something like that. So, wow. But I mean, any age group could read it. It's just that it's geared towards it's called the new adult genre. So.
Wow. Where can we find this book, and how can we connect with you?
Well, I'd love to send you a copy of the book too.
Yes, I would love to read it.
I would love to. I'd love to send it to you, and also the listeners can get it on. There's different ways you can get it. You can get it on, of course, Amazon.com, but you can also get it on BarnesandNoble.com. You can get it on the website itself of the publisher, which is S like Southern, S, and then Y like yellow, and then P like pine. So it's Southern Yellow Pine Publishing is what it's called. So it's SYPpublishing.com. You can get it there. You can also go to my website, which is Thornton with an N. It's an N in the middle, N like Nancy. So it's Thornton, THORNTON, Cline, CLINE.com. There's different places you can get it, and it's also, in the bookstores too. And so it's just been released. So it's very, very excited about it. It's my number 32nd book that's been published, and my 7th novel, but my 32nd book that's actually been published.
Okay, thank you for sharing. So, Clan, there will be more from Thornton in a moment. If you are listening on one of the many podcasting platforms rather than my website and you're encouraged by Thornton's journey, go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for a bonus portion of the interview. The Online Success Journey is a wonderful membership community built for people searching for the path to success. We are one big clan, and you can be part of this community for free. Once you have joined the clan, click on part 2 of Thornton's journey or over 200 other journeys that are available, and learn how you can find the right path for your own online success journey. That's a wrap, clan. Remember, success is a journey. Patience and Thornton.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com. filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.